Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us live on Facebook and then everyone else tuning in probably on YouTube or the replay. Today, we are talking about mediumship and the paranormal, and we have two lovely gentlemen who are going to be joining us. We have Jeremy, and we'll bop him up. Whee! And then we have Charles or Charlie, and they're going to be talking a lot about the paranormal side, and I'm going to be talking a lot about the mediumship side. So, Jeremy, I would like you to go first. Can you introduce yourself and the group you work with? Because I always call you guys paranormal and abandoned, and I know it's longer than that.
Right. So I'm Jeremy, part of Paranormal and Abandoned Explorers of Minnesota. Currently, we are in the process of changing our name. So it's actually going to be American Paranormal Investigative Team. Kind of going with something that's a little easier to say. So we have that going for us. We're waiting for Facebook to change our name, but we're going to take a new route, kind of rebranding and going from there.
Very cool. And so you guys focus mainly on Minnesota, correct? Yes?
No.
Damn it.
No. I was actually just in Atchison, Kansas at the McIntyre Villa. So
okay, so big. Cover a lot of space.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So, Charlie, this is actually my first time meeting you. So can you introduce yourself and what you bring to the paranormal world?
I'm Charlie. I got into this, due to personal experiences, things like that. And Jeremy actually came up with the idea of starting this. So within the group, I help with investigations, spirit box, things like that. And I also am basically the video content creator for our group now. So I'll be making all the videos you see on YouTube and things like that. That'll be ran by me. So.
Very cool. The technology part. I appreciate that. I am not tech savvy. I spent 5 hours on the phone with customer service to try and get a website thing fixed. And I don't. So I appreciate your existence as a non-tech person, because we would not survive in this tech age without the love of you guys. So first question, what is paranormal? Because I know a lot of people just think it's like, ooh, ghosts. I feel like it's so much more than that. So what do you guys consider paranormal?
For me, I think it's everything that can't be explained, right? Mm-hmm. So there's science out there that says this ball, if you drop it 100 times, it should fall the same way, but that 101 time it flies 30 miles. Like something that can't be explained, that no one can explain it by science, by anything like logical, like any logical explanation of what's happening. Mm-hmm. For me, I label everything like Bigfoot, everything like that into the paranormal, because it's not, like you said, not just talking about ghosts. It's not just talking about spirits or things like that. It's talking about things that we have no clue about.
Yep, definitely. All right, Charlie, what do you got?
Kind of the same ideal. I know a lot of people think that, it's all spooky or here and there, but I believe it just, paranormal to me stands out as, like certain phenomena and things we experience that just can't be explained. I don't think it always has to be, poltergeist, ghosts, spooky things, but just things that can happen that were just kind of mind blown. So we kind of label these things that are supernatural or, things like that as to be paranormal. And I mean, in a sense, to me, all those things are paranormal because it's obviously not a normal thing.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And for me, like paranormal, yes, it means ghosts, but I feel like it also means things that are like you said, hauntings and poltergeists, but it's not always scary. It's communicating with energies, entities, and spirits who have passed into another dimension or hanging out on this one, that type of thing. And so I do like that you guys are like breaking the myth that it has to be spooky or super intense, because the paranormal stuff that I've done has never been like dee-dee-dee-doo, dee-dee-dee-doo. It's always been like there's a kid running around, they want to play, someone hold their hand, and like having a conversation. So it doesn't have to be all spooky wooky as people like to sound.
I like that you bring up that point. I don't know if in Vegas I talked about my dream that I had, but like to sum it up real quick, I had a dream I died and I tried to talk to people and I was getting frustrated because they wouldn't talk back to me. Like I was in a spirit form. And I believe a lot of times, like when you go and do an investigation to a place, someone's like, "Oh my God, every time we catch this EVP, this person's screaming." Does that mean they're mad? Does that mean they're evil? Does that mean they're bad? Maybe they're just trying to get your attention to say, "Hey, I want to talk to you," and it's frustrating because you're not responding to me. So I think a lot of people take that out of context and they're like, "Oh, this is a bad evil entity. This is a bad spirit, and we shouldn't play here." And in reality, we don't know. Like no one has any idea.
Yeah, I would agree. And I feel like the other thing that needs to be said with that, like the way spirits and energies and entities and all that react, is also us. If we are being disrespectful, really intrusive, if you came into my house, I don't care that I know you, Jeremy or Charlie, you came into my house without asking, I'd scream at you too. I'd be like, what the actual fuck? Get out. I will hurt you. Because you were not invited in. This was not a nice, friendly hello. And so I feel like people are always like, oh, they're so agitated. And my thing is like, how are you doing that? Be responsible for your energy going into it and be respectful. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh no, it's just entertainment, or it's not. You don't have to respect them because they don't have like a human form, which I think is not true at all. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that because a lot of the time when we are investigating, we do try to get on that level with entities, spirits. We try to make them feel comfortable, or as comfortable as we can, because we do understand that that we are in their space. That we are the intruders. So we try to tell them, hey, we're not here to harm you. We're just here to communicate, just see if you have something you want to tell us. We bring we even got, certain like small, toys type things for, say if they're children, whatever, just to make them feel more comfortable and actually want to step out of their zone. And obviously we don't want to make them mad either. So we just try to make it like this neutral, comfortable ground for them if we can.
Absolutely. And like, I remember watching one, Jeremy, you were doing it and I cannot remember where you were, sorry, but you were doing it and I saw it on YouTube and you were asking someone to like throw something off a shelf. And you weren't like, just do it. You just very calmly like, could you show that you are here? Do you want to show that you are here? Because I feel like there are spirits and entities and stuff around, but they may not be chatty. They may not want to hit the ghost box or whatever. And that's important too, that like every place is like, oh, there's no activity. It's like, they may not just want to talk to you or talk right then. It doesn't mean nothing's happening. It just means like they may be shy.
Right. Yeah.
So, I really like that.
The only time I've ever pushed something is when we were getting a spirit box session and it kept telling us, it kept saying leave. And I'm like, who do you want to leave? Like, you need to tell us. And I kept pushing him, like not angrily, but like, and it's actually on one of our YouTube videos at Chase on the Lake. But I kept asking and finally it said, Jeremy, I want Jeremy to leave. Like, I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you for finally telling me that you wanted me to leave and I'll leave. But that was the only time I've ever pushed the envelope to get it to say.
Yeah. I remember watching a paranormal like clip or something. It wasn't you guys, but they were like, oh, we're not getting any spirits or anything. And me being a medium, like they were being so irreverent. Like they were in, not like a tomb, but like when you're in, I don't know what they're called. I'm so sorry. It's the little buildings with a bunch of family members in cemeteries.
Oh yeah.
Mausoleum.
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetie. Mausoleum. And the man had his foot up, just chilling with his foot up. And I am sitting there screaming, she is a lady. Fuck you. Like I was getting mad for the spirit. No wonder why she don't want to talk to you. I wouldn't want to talk to you. Oh my God. I felt for that spirit. And it was like, why is your foot up? Why? What made you think that you had a right to do that? Not like in a haunted house or anything, in a chair, in a mausoleum. You put your foot up, dog. So yeah, I'm big on respect for every entity. And I think that that's something with paranormal stuff that can be, like I said, overshadowed or overlooked. So we'll start with Jeremy, because on the screen, Jeremy, you're next to me. And so I'm just going in order. My OCD is like, just keep going this way.
Okay.
What got you into paranormal besides the dream, which no, you did not tell me about in Vegas, but I really like that dream.
So I've had things happen my whole life. since I was little to now. I actually just started believing that I'm either a sensitive or a type of medium that I can feel them. They can give me emotions and I can actually hear them. So, like, because every place I went to, I'm like, man, every place can't be freaking haunted. Like, how do I go to every place and there's something happening that I can't explain? And so it's always happened that way, and I've always been like open to it, and I wanted to explore it more, but I didn't want to do it by myself. So I decided to make a team and hey, let's go find stuff. Maybe we can help them. Maybe we can see, open more people's eyes to the paranormal and that things do happen.
Definitely. Charlie, how about you? What got you into this?
Into this, I guess, line of something I do, like I said before, it was, Jeremy kind of talking to me and things, but kind of the same history. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've had things happen to me. The first thing I do remember, I don't have the world's greatest, childhood with immediate family. So when certain things were going down, the one thing I do remember is I was laying in bed, I was sleeping, and I rolled over and I just seen this woman like kind of irradiating, and she was in my closet just looking at me, and I still remember it to this day. I think I was like 5, 6, something like that, and she just like looked at me, and I just felt like everything was going to be okay, so I just fell asleep, and that was the first time I ever sensed that. And then ever since then, I've just experienced other things, and then getting into doing this, I mean, it's just gotten, I guess, more intense because now I have the means of trying to communicate and understand and things like that. So
yeah, I agree. And for me, I was born with my abilities and my psychic abilities, and I never really got into the like strict paranormal side until going to Vegas. That was my first paranormal event, first anything. And I loved how nice everyone was. Jeremy and his group were actually my neighbors for it, and bless them, they were so nice as I just kept like yelling, "I'm bored, entertain me." So they were great fun, and that's how we all met and got to know each other. And it was just cool being in that kind of community and seeing the difference between like straight up mediumship and what paranormal is, and learning that there is some overlap, but there are some differences. So for me, it was like growing up, I talked to spirits before I actually like verbally spoke to humans, and that was just normal for me. And it never, like, when you're young, it's creepy to have a stranger in your house that no one else can see, and at the same time, it was like just another day. So it's always been a part of my life, and I like hearing how people are like, oh yeah, I had this instance that just made it real and got them into it. I think that's always super cool. So what do you guys think is a should or shouldn't, like, so paranormal and mediumship, they overlap, but they're not like the same. Do you guys feel that mediums should be part of paranormal like investigations and stuff? Or do you think we should play in separate pools? It adds to it, subtracts. What are your feelings about that kind of thing? Jeremy?
For me, mediumship can do like a medium can be a medium without a group, like, right? So the paranormal, or they don't need like paranormal groups, and they don't need the paranormal because they're already getting that, right? Yeah. Whereas like a paranormal group, they actually need mediums, like, right? So because like you were saying, sometimes they don't like to come out, sometimes they don't like to talk, maybe they're scared. So having that medium that maybe can bridge that gap between the two, that could work out. But so it like overlaps, but they're totally two different things. So you see those TV shows, I forget her name, but people come and they try to connect with loved ones or whatever. Like, yes, you can do it on that side. Like, you can have that, and then the paranormal is totally separate. So I think they're two different entities, but the paranormal like groups and stuff can benefit with a medium.
That makes sense. And actually, like, there was a video of you guys like outside. I don't know if it was at a cemetery, like in a wooded area or something, but you guys kept turning the camera this way, and there was a male spirit like on, and I'm like, stop turning left, turn right, like turn. And I'm like talking to my screen, like, just turn right. He is pacing, waiting for you. And like, I could see it psychically. And I realized, I'm like, oh, I don't think they can see him like on the camera screen. I think like it's a psychic medium thing. And so I thought it was like so interesting that you guys kept turning one way, and I'm like, he's right there. He's just right. So I had never seen that before, and so that was always like an interesting experience, because like I said, I haven't really delved into the paranormal a lot, but I know that they overlap so much that it's like you have to hold hands with them, because we all have to be friends. So
Right.
Charlie, how about you? What do you feel about mediums? Do you hate us? You hate us, don't you? We suck.
Oh, so much. No. Yeah, no, I believe that, they definitely benefit. And both sides benefit from each other, kind of like Jeremy was explaining. And I don't think that there should be, an either or, like, okay, you're a medium, so you can't do this, or you're not, so you can't come with and do this. Like, especially during investigations or anything like that. Like, just like you said, with the whole off the screen, we couldn't see anything, but you did. And if you say would have been there, then we could have panned over and maybe caught, or maybe went to go know to communicate and try to make that connection with them. And I think that's where it would benefit highly, by all means. And I'm always open-minded. So, anybody who wants to try something, or, say bring a medium into an investigation, I'm all for it. I'm like, because whatever gives us the best option, to communicate. And if, that entity wants to say something or anything, and we can get that message across and that helps, then let's do it,
Yeah, I like that. And I like what you said, because it builds on the paranormal is not better or worse than mediumship, and vice versa. Like, they each have their place and they work so harmoniously together. I feel like some people think one way or the other, like, oh, because we have all the like fancy toys, we're using technology, we're awesome. Because I've met people like that, and I'm like, oh, okay, like that's cool. Like, you guys, I don't know what it's called, Jeremy. I just call it the Christmas tree. It was like a cylinder with lights on top, and if a spirit got close to it, it lit up like a Christmas tree.
Oh, REM pod.
Yep. So the Christmas tree, and I loved that. Like, I think I tried to like pick it up. I'm like, can I just take this? And you guys were like, no, you can't have the toys. I'm like, but it lights up. I want it. Oh, that we all add to each other and benefit. Like, I love the idea of things that light up, partly because I'm such a visual person. Like, I'm clairvoyant, which means I see spirits and see energy, but also because, pretty lights. and I never like had anything like that. So seeing like there was equipment and toys, I'm like, oh, I want to like just sit around and dick around with this all day and just have fun with it. But yeah, just to have it be, because I've met some mediums who are like, I do not need equipment, and therefore I am superior. And I'm sitting there going, you kind of a twat, actually, but okay. Like, no one's superior to anybody else, but go live your life. So that's how I feel, that we're equals. We just do different things, and it's fun to just see how we can interact together. Because I feel like when there's a medium there, it can get either way better depending upon the medium, or way worse. Like, we don't always add something. If you've got the twat, then you're not adding anything to it. So that's how I feel. But when you have a good medium with someone like with you guys, I just at Vegas, Jeremy, I just messed around with you guys the whole time. I hope you found it like endearing and not psychotic.
No, it was a good time.
It was fun. That was my first time in Vegas. I've learned that I'm not a Vegas person, and I'm okay with that. But so what do you wish people knew about the paranormal? Like, yeah.
For me, what I believe in, and it's my belief 100%. I believe in God, and I go by the Bible. So one of the things I believe is that in the Bible it talks about like the second coming. So I believe that when everybody dies, they stay on earth, because technically, if the Bible's if it's true, when you die, you don't get to go to heaven, you don't get to go to hell. You got to stay here. You got to wait. You got to wait for that second coming to come, right? So that's where I believe that everybody stays here, and that's why we do have interactions with the paranormal and people, because they're still here. I just wish people would understand that they're people. Like, they're people that have passed on and they're there, but it might be scary for them, right? So if you ever think about, like, if you were to move to a new town, a big town, you didn't know anybody, no family, you're going to be nervous, right? You're going to be anxious. You're going to be scared. Like, you're not going to know where to go, what to do. And just imagine, like, back, let's go 1920s. Today looks different than that. Like,
Yes.
right? So everything might be changing, and they might not be able to leave where they're at. So they're stuck where they're at, and they might be nervous or scared, and they do things to get our attention. That might not be scary. It might be scary for us because we're like, "Whoa, what was that?" But in reality, sometimes we just need to break it down and be like, okay, if it is a spirit, what do they want? Do they just want to hang out? Do they want to talk? Do they want to interact with us? And that's all they want? Like, everybody is quick to jump to conclusions and say it's bad. Like, I see that so much on so many TV shows and everything. Oh, it's bad. It's a bad person. It's this guy who killed 30 people, when in reality, no one knows. Like, unless you have that ability to communicate with the other side, know exactly who you're talking to, you don't know. So I wish people would just take the time to learn and figure out who it might be.
That it's like dramatized when that's what a lot of, and I get that they have to do that, it's TV, but having everything be like, oh, it's bad or it's evil. I don't like labeling those things, because with like passive regression and stuff like that I teach, it's a different time. Like, the 1920s was a different time. Guess what? Almost everyone was homophobic. So if you met a homophobic ghost, be like, monster, and then it's like, oh crap, that was normal. I'm not saying it was good, but it was normal. And it's the same with like, even further back, differences and changes and behaviors and societal norms. It doesn't make someone bad. You have to put it into context. Otherwise, like, why talk to them if you're not going to actually talk to them? You're going to assume that they died yesterday and they know what a smartphone is.
Right.
They were here for George Floyd and now they're just gone. No, they have a completely different life experience than us. And I have a hard time. You had mentioned it before, like there are spirits everywhere. I always have a hard time when people are like, oh, I have to go to a haunted place.
Right. You
can, and there's more activity for the toys, like the Christmas tree and stuff. But I'm a medium. They're everywhere. And for me, like, being a medium, people will be like, well, why do spirits talk to you? Well, when I'm the only one who will talk to you in a room. Why would you go sit with anybody else?
Right.
Only one willing to be, oh, hi, you're here. What's up? Type thing. Because people always said, like, well, why? You're not. And it's like, I'm not special. I'm just the only one who's able to listen. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to. Jeremy, if you ignored me at a party the whole time, I would not talk to you. I wouldn't.
Right.
After a few minutes, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to go get some food and talk to somebody else who's actually going to, like, look at me and talk to me. And so, yeah, that there are spirits everywhere, and you can experience this everywhere you are. And haunted places have more paranormal activity, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't like the misconception that it can only be at the Lizzie Borden house, or it can only be at whatever that place is that starts with an A, or whatever. So, yeah.
I like that you bring that up, because people will go somewhere and be like, well, why is that haunted? Nothing happened there. And you watch these TV shows and they talk about residual hauntings, or they talk about intelligent hauntings or poltergeists, like, right? Like, so these are all theories that people have come up with over time, like, right? What I don't like is, like, for instance, I was watching a Ghost Hunters TV episode, and they heard footsteps, and it's like, oh, that's residual because it happens the same time every night. It's like, okay, but what happens if that ghost every night he just does the same thing? Like, he gets up and he walks downstairs. Like, how do you know it's not intelligent? Right?
Yeah,
like,
how do you know he didn't get home from work?
Right. Like, maybe he's going out. Like, if they're intelligent and if they're not stuck in one place, that means they get to move, right? So they can come back to where they like to be, which would be home. Like, a lot of these houses were people's homes. Like schools, for instance, a lot of people loved schools, so they might go back to that school because it's normal for them. It's something they know, and they go back to see it because it's okay. I kind of feel comfortable here because I've been here. I went to school here. we don't know if they know they're dead or not. Maybe they know they're dead. And so they're like, well, I just want to go back to kind of feel like I know this place.
Who the hell liked school? That is my only comment about that whole thing. Sorry, that is not where I would go. I'm sure there are people who liked school enough to like swing by and haunt it. But I'm like, if I had to haunt a place, I'm sitting here thinking, there is a question. I want Charlie to answer this one. If you were a ghost, where would you haunt? Like, if we're talking about the place you're most comfortable or anything, I want to know, where'd you haunt? Come on.
So I think the place that I'd like to haunt mostly would probably be the U.S. Bank Stadium. Get to watch every single Vikings home game every time. I mean, why not?
We get to throw a football onto the turf.
That's something, but at least I get to see every game. So
just like trip a player when you want someone else to win.
Give them the advantage. We need it.
All right, Jeremy, how about you? Where would you haunt?
My family. 100% my family.
I respect that.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. If I die way before them, they better watch out.
Noted.
I feel that. Because like with me, I think like, where am I most comfortable, or where have I spent the most time? And I'm sitting there going, oh God, it's going to be with family. And then it's just going to be messing with them. But I guess like for me, there's a perk. I know so many mediums and paranormal people that like, Jeremy, I'm just going to poke you in the middle of that. Be like, I had to go on like walkabout. It's going to be just like Vegas. Talk to me. I'm bored. And you'll just have to deal with that. So yeah, I'd like to say that I'd be like a nice ghost, but I'm like, I think I'd just mess with people. Not meanly, but I would be active. I talk a lot in real life. I cannot imagine that's gonna stop after death. I can't see me being a quiet ghost. I think that's my life goal now. That's something I want to aspire to. So how has paranormal affected you, impacted your life? Like, has it changed your life at all, or no?
Charlie, you can go first.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it has. Like I said, from when I was a kid and stuff, and things they just got more and more. I've had tons of occurrences, and I told Jeremy, even my old house, we investigated multiple times, and I shared with them what happened and everything. And I feel, as though all that's gotten greater or more active now that we've been doing this for as long as we have. And it's not just the tools, not just the technology that does it, but just to be in tune with it. More and more things happen, like hearing disembodied voices or, being touched or, things like that. It's just now we've kind of gained the know-how per se, and not necessarily know-how, but I think just that in touch. So I feel like just all of that. And also I think it's kind of helped me with a little bit more with compassion and stuff because, and I'm sure, when you're trying to communicate and people don't want to communicate back, you get irritated, right?
Yes.
But then, you're doing this, I guess, line of work, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. You learn to be like, okay, they're not talking back. Let's just be patient. Let's hang out. Let's just see. We'll relocate. We'll double back later, whatever. So I think in my personal life, it's definitely helped me with patience, and compassion. But as far as, professional or, what we do here, it's just paranormal itself for my life. It definitely made me more in tune with the paranormal as well. So
I feel like it creates a deeper understanding,
Absolutely.
To work with people who have passed on. You have, in a weird way, I have found that like I have a deeper level of compassion because when you talk to like so many spirits or whatever, you learn that like some of them were kids that died in a fire trying to like save the horses or whatever, which happened in my hometown when I did a mediumship session at a haunted hotel in my hometown. They just had me continually come because it was haunted in like 2 rooms specifically. And every time they like wiped the glass, because when you go in the housekeeping and cleaning, there were like faces screaming in the glass and everything. I was like, all right, this is an intense room. Let's not stay here. Like, I wouldn't sleep overnight there. I'll sit there and talk to anybody, but I'm like, I wouldn't sleep here. Give me a different room. And it's learning that like they can suffer and everything like that. It's I feel like it's added to in the weirdest way, my quality of life. Does that make sense? Like, oh wow, people are suffering and I can still communicate with them, and seeing other entities like strengths or what's important to them, because sometimes it's like, oh, it's always going to be something profound. And it's not. Sometimes it's as easy as like jumping up and down or just saying hi, or what actually is impactful doesn't have to be like earth shattering, which I feel like a lot of people think it is, when really it can be as easy as like, here's a stuffed animal. I had a spirit living in the front closet at the house that I grew up in, and I would go into the closet and play with her and leave my toys in there for her to play with whenever I wasn't there. And my parents thought I was nuts for a while, but they never moved the toys. They're like, okay. And they never thought it was an imaginary friend. They weren't like, oh, that's so cute. They were like, there's a little girl with red hair in your closet. Hey, okay, let's just respect this and move on. So yeah, and I guess that's another question. At what age? Because I started young. Carl, you had a young experience. Jeremy, yours has grown as you've gotten older to be more in touch with like your abilities to like ghosts when they're around. How young can kids be part of a paranormal investigation or no?
I think they can. You know, one thing is like kids, you know, growing up, it's always like, oh, they have an imaginary friend. Is it imaginary? You know, I just feel that kids don't have the garbage that has been put in their brain. So they have that open connection to really see the side of the paranormal, like, right? So if you took a adult male now or adult female now and said, hey, you know, like the paranormal is real, and they'd be like, no, it's not. I've learned my whole life it's not. It just doesn't exist. You know, they're going to be more. It's going to be a lot harder to have that connection than maybe a child who doesn't have that connection or has the connection that they're able to see that.
Mm-hmm. Without the ego. I always tell people,
right.
Children are the most accurate, psychics, mediums, everything. You don't throw them into difficult situations. You still keep it like PG. But right. I mean, kids are so in tune, and they haven't grown up with societal or cultural norms yet. They haven't been bastardized by their own ego and self-doubt. Like, the best thing you can do is like be around a kid and just be like, what do you see? Because I see kids professionally. I have lots of clients who are children. And yeah, it's like one of them, they wanted to learn how to like manipulate energy in their hands. And I'm like, well, what color? And then I like blew out energy in my palm. They're like, I was like, what color is it? And without a doubt, orange. And I'm like, yes. Because so many adults, if you were to do that, if you were to manipulate energy, they'd go, well, I guess I think it might be, but maybe that's myself. Maybe it's because I like that color every single time. Where right. Kids, they're just like, why is grandpa standing next to you? He's been dead for 10 years. And you're just like, I love you so much. You want a cookie? Hey, just don't lose that. Don't lose that. Keep it going and stuff. So Charlie, how young do you think to like, we can experience spirits young, but like to go on an investigation?
You know, it's hard to put a specific age on it for me, just because, you know, I feel like everybody experiences or grows into something at different points in their life. You know, I feel like if you're, you know, old enough to communicate it and you feel justified, and, you know, it's not like a prove it thing, but like you're like, yes, I know this. You know, like if my son was like, Dad, I know this, then, you know, let's say he's 5 now, but he hasn't done any of that at all yet. But let's say, you know, 5, even at 5 years old, I'd be like, okay, you know, yeah, you could tag along, see what it's about, you know. I mean, probably not subjugate yet, you know, like, you know, get any areas alone or anything like that, but to get them in there, because, and that's the thing is, you know, there might be spirits out there that they take a look at me or you and say, nah, I don't want to talk to you. Then they see a kid and they're like, hey, or like, that's another kid, or, you know, or you remind me of my grandson or whatever. And then they'll talk to them, you know, that open communication. So I feel like if they're old enough to communicate and they're old enough to feel, you know, justified and like what they understand and what they hear or see, and to really speak that out, I feel like that at whatever age that's at, that's something that is good to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to preface this just so that we don't get any like angry people in the comments. This is with consent. This is with safety. This is with communication. I'm not talking about dropping a kid in the middle of an abandoned prison and just letting them run wild. No, it's with supervision, it's with communication, and it's to keep them safe, because there are some things that do get intense, and to be able to like take the kid out and to keep things very PG, because sometimes spirits cuss, and sometimes spirits have violent lives that they're telling you about, and it's like, oh yeah, the kid needs to know that the spirit was a violent drunk. No, he doesn't.
Right.
So I'm just being clear, like, yes, kids, please get involved, and adults, make sure that it is kid appropriate when you do it, so that when you're in a situation with kids, the kids always take priority. At least in my world, they do. Like their safety, their happiness is over like an adult having fun. The adult's like, I want to do this, and it's like, well, you can't do that in front of a child, so you're gonna have to wait. The child's time's coming up though, so type thing. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. So what do you guys wish people knew about the paranormal?
That, we do videos or whatever, and TV does it for entertainment, right? Like there is like an entertainment aspect to it, like, right? But like the reason why I do it is I want to learn more, right? So before I get to that position where I'm going to the other side, maybe I can take the knowledge with me, like, hey, look, when I was doing this and talking to spirits, this is what it's going to be like, and maybe I can do something differently or not. And it's when we go to do this, it's about learning about what's on the other side and learning about the people. Like I truly, when I go do an investigation, I want to learn about them. Right. So for instance, we were at the Boyd House and I was sitting upstairs and I'm like, imagine going back to I think it was 1930s. I said, seeing the town the way it was, seeing how it was, like the trains coming through, the people, the bustling people. And we literally got an EVP that said, exactly. Like, so I felt like we were getting on their level. Like, hey, I want to go back to that time and see this. And they were like, yeah, hey, it's cool. Like, exactly. Yeah. Like we like that too. Mm-hmm. So I just want people to, like, when they're watching these shows, take it as like a learning, not just as an entertainment part, but like learning about the other side, learning about these people, and just realizing that someday they might be the person that is trying to communicate with a human.
Yes, definitely. And you had mentioned something way earlier about like your beliefs and why the second coming and stuff like that. And it's any belief can see a spirit, like right. So if I were to go with you, you wouldn't be like, here's a Bible. You'd be like, here's the Christmas tree. Go find me something to mess with. And so, because I think that some people think like, oh, it's only Christians or it's only pagans or it's only who can do this. And it's like, oh no, ghosts are non-denominational. They'll mess with you no matter what. So it's when people are like, oh, well, that's not really in my religion. It's like, well, people died. That's part of life. And so that is part of every religion, every belief system knows that the human coil goes away eventually. And something happens after. I know there are a few that are just done, but right. So yeah, that there are, it's never non-paranormal. Paranormal is everyone, and it's very welcoming. I have found, like, some people were not nice in Vegas, but
we actually, I just talked to a lady from Jamaica, and we kind of explained to her what we do. We go out, we do investigations to learn more about spirits and things like that. And she said, we believe in it, but we don't mess with it. She's like, you guys are crazy. Like they believe in it, but they don't go out looking for it. Like they know it's there. But it's funny that you said that, because it's like their culture. It's like, we know it's there. We know they're spirits, but we don't mess with it. We just
give it a wide berth. Wide berth. Yep.
Right. So.
Definitely. Yeah. And there are different cultures like that. Like some pagan cultures and other cultures, they're about like their ancestors and communicating with their ancestors who have passed is a huge part of it. And you're like, oh no, you have to communicate with them like at least once a year in a huge ritual and stuff. And it's always like, oh wow, so it can be done in so many different ways, like between paranormal and mediumship and ritual. And there's no one right or wrong way to connect with the other side.
Right.
So Charlie, what do you wish people knew about paranormal, mediumship, all this fun stuff?
I guess more on the technical scope of things. Something that I really think people should know is that it is a lot of work and dedication. And people who do this, mediums, anybody who it is a lot of work. It's something that does envelop their life a bit. And so it takes a lot of work, and not everything's all exciting all the time. We do have walls. I mean, we know as people in anything we do. But one of the biggest things I do want to say is I know when people look at national television, I mean, I'm saying allegedly, out of pure speculation, a lot of it does seem drummed up, right? I mean, we've all seen that. We've seen someone like, okay, yeah, all right, buddy, things like that. But it's not always, and it very well may not be. We have no idea, but I'm just saying that's what I've heard from people. So when I hear people tell me, oh, hey, how do I know that you didn't have a string tied to that doll that fell over, or you didn't do this, or you guys did this, or you guys showed up at that house 3 hours early? I'm like, no. I'm like, A, I'm lazy. That's way too much work. And B, if that conversation ever got brought up in our group, I'd be gone. I'm looking for the truth. I'm not just out here to help other people. I'm also out here to help myself, to figure out and try to understand. So it's not really justifiable to cheat like that, in my opinion. So that's just what I wish people would know more, is that, yeah, it's not all just smoke and mirrors and just a bunch of baloney. It's real things that are happening, and that's why we're out here attempting this, is to show the world, like, hey, this exists. This is how we can go about it. And, hopefully in the future, maybe reconnect loved ones and things like that, So that's definitely one thing that I wanted to touch on. So
I want to kind of hit on Charlie's too, like about the whole work thing. Like, people think that you walk into a haunted house and the second you walk through that door, there's stuff happening. It's like, no. We've gone, Charlie, how many times have we gone into investigation and nothing's happened? Like, people think it's just going to happen from the get-go, and it doesn't happen like that. Like, they want to do it when they want to do it. Again, in Boyd House, we had things happening when the cameras weren't even on. Like, we turn the cameras on, all of a sudden everything just stops. It's like they knew that we were trying to catch them on camera, and they're like, no, we're just going to wait till you turn it off, and then we'll start doing stuff. So just realizing, like Charlie said, it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. It's not easy doing all this stuff. At times now we have over 40 to 50 hours of video to watch to go back through that we already relived, and we're doing this. So, to go on Charlie's thing too, it's like, if we're going to fake this, we would fake it so that way it looks really good and we're going to get thousands of people to watch us. Like, we're out here putting the time in to show you. Some of our videos have boring spots in them because we want to show you it's freaking boring sometimes, and it sucks. So
yeah, and I think I want to touch on a few things like this. With so many other things, it can be entertaining. It is not entertainment. So whenever I meet people, I always tell them, I may be flamboyant. Jeremy, you met me in person. I am very entertaining, but I am not a performing monkey in heels. I am not here for your enjoyment. I'm here to help. I'm here to help you in any way I can, but I certainly am not a magician going to pull something out of a hat type thing. And I think that that's really an important distinction to make with so many of these things, that because of mainstream media have been turned into entertainment, where it's like, it's made to do that and to be watched and enjoyed. And while that's lovely, it's not real to have things be entertainment all the time. And with that, like, I had someone say to me, and Jeremy, I almost cussed them out. It was, that show is so unrealistic. They're getting all that activity in 60 minutes. I white knuckled the table. I was like, okay, I have to be professional. I am here as a professional. I am not going to scream at this person. And in my head, I am just like, how can you be so dumb? No, you think all that happened? That is editing. That may be days in that little shitty house. And, you know, eating fast food just so that you can never leave the house. And they were like, so much happened. It's like, yes, when you're on TV, like on a channel, have a TV show, you are not going to sit there for an hour. Anybody here? Can someone please talk to me?
Right.
I need to pay someone talk now or not at all. Like, you can't do that. You have to cut out all of those segments and just have that so that it fits in 60 minutes. I could not believe that someone who like does paranormal work and everything like that was saying, oh, it's so unbelievable. In 60 minutes, they got all this. Like, you do this work. How can you say, oh, please don't speak anymore? You're bringing down the IQ of the whole room. Oh, it was painful. I could not handle it. And I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just flabbergasted that someone was like, do people, when they watch those shows, do people really think that it happens in 60 minutes?
Some.
They must.
Humanity just went down a bit, not gonna lie.
Well, it's like, you know, like ghost hunters now, they spend a week at a location, a full week to get that 45 minutes, you know, and it goes back to not everything happens all the time. So there's stuff that happens that doesn't happen. And then they have, you know, and then someone has to sit and watch that footage. It's like, do you think these these videos get put together like 10 minutes? It's good to go. It's done. It's like, no, a lot more work goes into them than what people realize.
Definitely. And that goes to the tech person, Charlie. Here's a question. So let's say you do 2 or 3 hours of videoing at a house, a cemetery somewhere. 2 to 3 hours of video. How long does it take to watch that, edit it, finish it, and then like post it to YouTube? Be honest here. I know the numbers big.
It's so much. So let's just say we're going to go off of 4 cameras. Let's just say a real basic operation. Someone just started.
I didn't even think of that. Okay. Yeah, multiple cameras. Okay. I thought 1 camera and like a Christmas tree. No. Okay. Yep. I'm with you now. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I mean, and then I can even, yeah. So I'll just go with like 4 just because it's super standard. I mean, we have more now, and we're getting more, like we're shooting more towards everybody getting body cams so we can, if we're not looking, you can catch something. So it's even more footage. So let's just say it's a 3-hour investigation. That's 12 hours of video right there. And then you're slowing down, speeding up. So it's not just 12 straight hours of watching. It's probably about 14, 15 hours of just watching that video at 3 hours. And then editing. Oh, God. Yeah, you got to go through, you got to timestamp everything. You got to write things down, what clips here, what's there, what's going on. So I count that into editing. It kind of just right from there I go. Editing, I'm going to say before it even hits working on the video, about another 3-4 hours. And then working on the video itself, you got transitions, you got effects, you got everything. Oh God. I didn't even keep track of time. I haven't, but just guessing. Oh, that's at least 4 to 6. I'd say 3 to 6, 3 to 5. Setting that up for someone like me, and then publishing it is actually the quickest thing because you just upload it, unless you got to size. But so I mean, it can take 20 hours, 30 hours, and that's just on 3 hours of film between 4 cameras, or 3 hours on with 4.
Yep.
You can't forget though EVPs too, recorders.
Yep, and then EVPs, yeah. And I'm just talking basics. Yeah, so you got to listen through EVPs, and they got to plug and play that. And if you have 10 EVP sessions at 10 to 15 minutes each, that's 100 to 150 minutes you got to listen, and that's not counting playbacks, double checking for it, timestamps, and then having to pull those and stuff like that. So it takes a lot of time in video production just to put out a single 30 to 60 minute video. It's insane.
Yes, so it's a lot of effort, where I think that is a huge difference between like paranormal investigations, not paranormal work, but investigations where you do record it and everything. And like when I do mediumship, I sit there and the client is in front of me, or it's over Zoom, or we're in a house, and I'm just walking around and doing like the 2-hour session, and they're following me around with their phone on record. to like record my voice and what I'm saying, what the spirit is saying. And that's it. So I'm sitting here going 24 hours of work for my like 2. I'm like, yeah, it's different. It's definitely, I feel a little bit spoiled now, not gonna lie.
Like even now for us, we have 8 cameras. We usually run an investigation 6 to 8 hours. That's just video. That, like, again, not including, like Charlie said, like we run EVP sessions between 10 to 20 minutes, and you might be running 20 a night. And then to add, because a lot of times what you want to do is you want to back that EVP up with video, right? Well, now you have to, if you're listening to that EVP and you catch something, well, now you got to stop. You have to go back to that, find that video exactly where it was at, and then listen to that video, and then time it up with that EVP. So you're adding in even more time to connect the dots between, or even multiple shots of that same thing, so you're trying to find that in a multitude of videos. Like right now, I'm sitting here in front of my computer screen. The Boyd House, the investigation we just did, is sitting on my screen right now. It's 74 gigabytes for the video. 74 gigabytes. And just for the videos. So just to put it in perspective of people like who are going to watch this and then truly realize what teams do behind the scenes is huge. It's easy for them to be like, oh, you put this 10-minute video out. And it's like, no, we probably spent 80 hours on just that 10-minute video to get it up and published.
Yeah. So, okay, I have a question based on the phrase, too many cooks in the kitchen, So like with mediumship, I've been in like big groups where I've done mediumship in like stadium. They're called galleries, where you stand up front and maybe a few other mediums are standing up front, and we channel messages for loved ones in a group from anywhere from 50 to 150 people and stuff. And like it's 4 or 5 of us up here doing it. None of us are like contradicting each other. We can pretty much get into the flow and the sync of things. But with paranormal, is there such thing as having too many people? Because I've heard of like paranormal events where they're like special events where you like buy tickets for, and then it's 30 people doing this. And I don't know, like if I was a spirit, I would be more comfortable with like a few homies hanging out than 30 people descending upon my existence. So is there, like with more people, can there be less or more activity if they're not like me, if they're not mediums who can like call in spirits and open up that kind of stuff?
I mean, I feel like 30 people. That's hard to differentiate. For spirit to even want to come out, but just to know that the information or things that are going on you're getting is even real or realistic. I mean, in our group, we have 5 people. Every once in a while, we might throw a special guest in, but even then, so we all split up, and it's because, that whole thing, the intimidation factor's there, right? And they might be intimidated with 2 people or even 1. And so we feel like if we try different things, one person sitting here and doing this, or 2 or 3 or 2, or, however, that we get the best options and the best chances. But I feel like it's just personal belief, but this isn't for the group, it's just me. But running something with a group size that big, I don't feel is beneficial. Like you said, I just think that it scares more than anything. I haven't personally seen anything really big come out of those, but that, like I said, that's me. I just feel like the smaller the group or in the location, the certain setting you're in, the more likely you are to get paranormal activity.
Yeah, and like when it's the big groups, I would hope that they're not all just sitting in the living room waiting, that they're like breaking off. I'd hope they break off into smaller groups, but I have no clue. I've never done one. And I think, so this is actually something that I put in a blog and also on my website as like a disclaimer of mediumship, because I always have to tell people, and they're like, I want to talk to Great Aunt Edna. Well, this isn't Dial the Dead. This is not on demand. I cannot grab that spirit by the hair and yank them back. I can do great things. I cannot do that. And because I feel like people forget that spirits have free will still. They passed. They didn't give up their ability to make decisions. And so people think that like, oh, you can just manipulate them or you can force them to do something. You can force them to talk. Jeremy, has that ever happened? You'd be like, talk, bitch. And they automatically just like, oh, yes, Jeremy. Lord Jeremy. No, they don't. They have free will. And so I feel like that's a misconception, especially with mediumship, when people say, I want to talk to XYZ. And it's like, we can try. I always tell people when I open up sacred space, I will never send it. Think of it like fishing. I will never send out a fishing pole with one line and like hope to get great Uncle Earl. And that's it. I will send out a net, and whoever we bring back in, that's who you're talking to. And most of the time in that net is the person you want to talk to, because we set the intention and set the energy, but not always. And the disappointment some people feel from like unrealistic expectations happens in paranormal and mediumship, where people are like, well, I expected like glass to shatter and to hear moaning and to like see a gauzy gowned widow floating down the hallway. And you're just like, one of the ghosts made a farting noise on the sound thing. We hit it. We got one. Yay. Like when you get something, it's like, no, it's not going to be like that. Sorry. But that's life.
You know, for the group thing, one thing for me is during doing the paranormal, I trust very little doing the paranormal. Charlie could probably attest to my trust level in the paranormal. Like, I only want to bring people around me that I can trust. So if you hear a noise and you don't know where that noise came from, I'm going to trust you that it's paranormal, right? But you get a group of 30 people and you got 3 of them, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that noise? And it's like, no, I didn't hear it, and I don't believe you, because, you know, you could just be making something up because you want the whole group to look at you and think you're hearing these noises and things like that. Where if you keep it small and even people, like if we kept it small, there's 5 people and there's 4 of them, 4 others I didn't know. And I could have, stuff happen where we both hear it, then I can kind of like trust them a little more, if that makes sense. Like, but if you get too big, they're there for the entertainment and they're not there for the real reason. For instance, I was at an event and it's like, you're sitting there and then you hear noise and you're like, hey, what was that? And then someone would chime up, oh, that was me. Why didn't you say that? Because now, like, we're sitting here trying to listen for things to happen to see if they're paranormal. You're making noise, and that's
you fidgety bastard.
Right. You're putting a damper on the investigation, and then you're not saying anything. You're just like staying quiet. So, when we do our investigations, they probably get annoyed at me. I'm always like, hey, stop whispering. Like, you got to talk, because if we hear a whisper and we're not whispering, then we know it's not them. Or I try to, like, if you make a noise, say you made a noise, like, or
I bumped the chair.
Right. Not like, did you bump it? No, I didn't bump it. What? But he actually did. So.
And I think you bring up a good point with like the big groups. Is there a group mentality? So, did you see that? Oh yeah, I did. And then everyone chain reaction says yes, because someone else said yes first. Does that make sense? So like, whether they saw it or not, and I'm not saying they're lying, I'm saying it's like a group mentality, how people just like start sharing an experience, whether it's authentic or not, that it's like, yes, I heard that too. And really they didn't, but they're too caught up like in the moment to differentiate, like, did I actually hear that or not? And I think that can be kind of unfortunate. And Jeremy, you bring up a good point, like doing it with people you trust. So I don't know if you would ever tolerate me doing something, because I fidget so much. So there would be me bumping into chairs, tripping over myself, talking constantly, and you would be sitting there just throwing empty cans at me. Shut up, Lily. And then I'll be like,
but see, like, I wouldn't mind if you fidget, because you'd probably be like, that's me, that I'm doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you would be letting us know that it was you, where there's people that will do it and then not say anything. So then it's like, okay, are you just doing this on purpose or what? Like, and going back to that group mentality, Again, I'm not going to say where I was, but we were kind of sitting off the room from the group, and they're all talking, like asking questions, whatever. Cool, fine. I'm not here for that. I want to find spirits. I want to talk to them. And I had this feeling. We were sitting in a room, and then it was a hallway, and then another room, and it was kind of like a little study. And I'm like, I feel like it's sitting right across the hall. Like I just have this gut feeling that it's sitting right across the hall, and it's just sitting there. And sure enough, it would. They had a REM pod sitting on the hallway, and sure enough, it would come walk in the hallway, hit the REM pod, and go back in. And I was like, it's sitting right there, but they're not realizing it because they're all talking because there's too many people. And I'm like, I'll just sit here and I'll be in the company of this spirit, and if he wants to keep doing that, I'll just let him keep doing.
Yeah, definitely. And like with mediumship, something that I realized that is natural for me because like I can see the spirit, but I realize people who don't see aren't like looking at dead space. They can't like wrap their head around it. So whenever I do mediumship, it always baffles me. Like spirits can get really offended that you're not looking at them when you're talking to them. So mediumship is communicating with the spirit, not just like trying to find them, whatever, having like a full conversation. And so I'll be like sitting across from the client and the spirit will be like to their left and they just keep looking at me and talking. And I'm like, you need to talk to them. I'll hear you still and answer, like I'll hear their answer and then answer, but look at them, acknowledge them. Because I'll always be like, they are standing here or they're standing here, to let them know like where they should be looking to go, hello, Aunt Agnes type thing. Because it's weird. It is important for the spirits to be validated in that way when you're doing mediumship. And so many people don't, even when they're pointed out, because I'm here with like skin. And they're just like, I must look and talk to you because you're the one speaking. It's like, you can look at them and whether you see them or not, look in their general direction. Acknowledge that there is an entity that you are supposed to be talking to, you wanted to talk to, and now you're ignoring them and being rude. So that's
like another
discovered.
Another thing, like with the big groups, like I'm kind of a quiet person. Like I don't know. I get kind of like self-conscious sometimes. So like me learning about abilities that I have, like I can feel things, right? So we were at this place and we were sitting down in the basement and I was like, man, my gut's telling me they're in the next room. I can feel it. They're giving me this feeling. And sure enough, someone asked, hey, can you make a noise? And literally the next room over, there's a knock. And I'm like, why didn't I say anything? But I was in a group and I didn't want people to look at me and be like, he's faking it or he's just saying that because he heard the knock. Now he said something. And then I'm like, oh, well, now it's standing outside the room. Like it was giving me this, I don't know how to say it. Like you might understand it. I don't know if Charlie would, but it was giving me this, like it was telling me where it was without me having to see where it actually was.
Yeah.
So like, and then it would stand outside the room and she's like, man, it feels like someone's standing outside the door. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm just going to keep this as myself because this is awesome. Like literally I'm answering my own question. Like, is this true? And then literally like that whole time it kept telling me where it was at. And then people would be like, what was that? What was that right behind me? And I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. Like, this is awesome. But yeah, just going back to that mentality of, I didn't want to say anything because it was too big of a group. I didn't want people to look at me and I didn't know anybody else. So
yeah. And I feel like in groups, so most of the time, if you haven't noticed, like I do this professionally, this is my full-time job. So I'm always the one up there talking, teaching the class, leading the group. And whenever I'm not, because I still go to like other events, other people's events and stuff and participate, I don't always say things because I'm not worried no one's going to believe me most of the time. I'm worried that then people are going to shift their focus to me and be like, did you hear that? What do you see? You can see spirits. Why can't, call Maury and do this, do that? And it's like, oh no, I paid to come to this event and to participate. People, if you want me to do that much work, you're right, Charlie, it's a lot of work. And then you should be paying me and I'll be happy to facilitate this. But so, and it's not all about money. It's the effort. It's like, I came here to participate, not to have people ask me a bunch of questions. And it also sometimes really offends or hurts the feeling of the person running it, that they're like, God, did you really have to take all the attention in the room? Like, I'm the expert, stop talking. And I'm just like, when I do things that aren't meant to have attention on me. Because when the attention is on me, I'm like, oh yeah. But when it's not meant to, I'm just like, I want to experience it and not mess with it.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I feel. Are there any final thoughts, feelings? Because we've been talking for over an hour already. That either of you have, we'll start with Charlie, that to like end, anything else you want to say about paranormal or mediumship or your experiences or your gorgeous looking beard, whatever you want to talk about.
Just like this, it takes a lot of work, just like anything else. But one thing I just want to remind people before we close is, don't just knock stuff down until you necessarily try it or experience it. Just because you've been led to believe one way, possibly by someone else, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So if you feel that way, don't. I would just advise against influencing others to just be like, yeah, that's not true, without even them having a fighting chance to see. But yeah, I just want to put that out there, and just always try to have an open mind with just mediums, paranormal groups, paranormal as a whole, anything supernatural, because in our minds it exists, and there's reasons for that. We have experiences, so just keep an open mind, and you might experience it for yourself.
Definitely. And I like that, like open mind, but also the don't yuck someone's yum. I heard that in an alternative community once during a discussion. And it was like, it doesn't have to be your yum, but you can't yuck it. So don't yuck someone's yum. Just something totally different than what you would do. And I guess one of the things that I want to say, because it just popped into my head, and when it was years ago, someone told me this that I respected, and then that died in a ditch. So I had started watching Supernatural, the TV show. I still haven't gotten through it, but I don't find it scary anymore. So that's good. I don't like horror. I don't like thriller. I'm not that kind of person. I like, kid shows and light and fluffy. But this, I like posted on Facebook or social media, like, hey, I started trying to watch Supernatural again. And this woman from my community, from the spiritual, the pagan, the paranormal community, was like, that is great educational material. What did you just say? And she took it very literal. And I'm like, it's not like Ghost Hunters. It's not like that Haunted Highway or whatever the other names are. It's literally a show. That's it. It's not. And she genuinely was like, this is what a Wendigo is, and this is how you destroy it. This is what how you destroy the spirit with the hook hand. This. And I was just like, okay, while they do have certain things that are real in certain pagan beliefs, like salt does certain things, yes, herbs do certain things, yes, certain symbols, yes, it's all creative license, all of it. And the idea that so do your research when you're going to do it. Don't just pick a random TV show that has attractive young men in it and say that's your training, because that is not. I think for paranormal and mediumship, hands-on training is the best, and not WTV shows, no matter how nice or not nice they are. Hands-on experience is where you can learn the most, and you can ask questions to spirits, but also to the people there. Like in Vegas, when I asked Jeremy and the other members of his group questions about the Christmas tree, they were happy to answer them. They were like, oh yeah, this is what this does. This is why it lights up. And I'm sorry, I will never learn the real name. I am now determined to call it the Christmas tree for Jeremy forever. You dropped me. You don't love me. You dropped me. No, I know you love me. So Jeremy, what do you want to close with? What do you wish? What are your final thoughts?
So some of the biggest things I want to hit on is, if you have stuff that happens to you in your house or whatever, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be frightened. But the biggest thing is don't run, don't scream. You can sit there and say, hey, I'm scared, like this scared me, whatever. But come from their side. They're trying to get your attention. And if you scream and run away, you think they're going to want to try and get your attention again?
Yeah.
Probably not, right? So, like, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to have those feelings, but also try to put that barrier up to say, hey, I need to start thinking about them as well, not just about my own feelings. And then the second thing is, all the TV shows are great. All these big time TV shows are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to go find out about the paranormal, watch the smaller people on YouTube. You're going to find it to be very closer knit. You're going to find out that they're wanting to be more real, and you're going to find out truly things, because we're going to be way more excited, right? You watch a TV show and, oh, that happened, and they put that in there. Like us, for instance, when Charlie got touched, he started screaming and yelling. He's like, oh my God, I got touched. And, the cameras are angled somewhere else, because we're all like, what? You got touched? And, we're like, where? And so, like, the camera doesn't see it because we're all excited. You're going to find more of the truer moments to the smaller groups. You don't have to watch us. But
yes, you do. Don't be modest. Hush your mouth. Don't be modest. What is your YouTube channel again?
You can find it under Paranormal and Abandoned Explorers of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
It is changing. The name is changing to American Paranormal Investigative Team. So under either one of those, you'll be able to find us. It takes time for YouTube and Facebook to change a name, so we're waiting on them. So otherwise, yeah, it's going to be changing to that very soon.
Very cool. Yeah, and I guess my final thing to say is going to be, if there are paranormal things like happening in your house or whatever, you can always reach out to me as a medium or these guys as paranormal investigators, and have us head over and try something and see if anything is there or anything needs to be taken care of or anything like that. But then also with this, if you want to start doing this, I've seen this happen a few times, and that's why I feel the need to bring it up. Consent is key when dealing with spirits, but also with other people. Oh, I know that house down the street is haunted, so I'm going to break in the middle of the night. No, that's trespassing, and no one looks good in prison colors, okay? Nobody. So if there is something where you're like, oh, I want to go there and do that, be respectful not only of the spirits, but the place you're in. Like if you're in a graveyard that is someone's loved ones, do not be an asshole, especially if they are visiting the grave or something. Be like, oh, I'm here for paranormal stuff. Let's look at this. Because then if they punch you, I'm going to be okay with that. I really am. I'm going to take the side of the family. So just be respectful of where you are and don't do anything illegal with this. There are ways to do it legally. And as much as like, oh, it'll add excitement. No, it won't. It's going to add 5 to 10. That's what it's going to do. No one likes prison food. No one likes prison jumpsuits. No. So it's just something to be aware of and be respectful of as we talk about this stuff. So thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Charlie, for joining me, for indulging me, for having fun with all of this mediumship and the paranormal. Everyone, please like, share, follow, share your experiences. And if you have a place that you want me or the guys to come and check out, absolutely tell us that too. We would be happy to go and root around in your basement for a day and see what we can find for you. So
and it's free.
Go forth and be what?
I said it's free for us to come and do it.
That is good to know. It is not free for me. If we go together, there will be charges because this is my full-time job. So yes. But yeah, they are wonderful to work with and super fun. And I've met almost everyone in the team now, I think. Was Charlie the last member?
Nope. There's another one, Jimmy. Jimmy, you haven't met Jimmy yet.
What? I feel like you're only giving me certain people, like you don't want to give me everyone at once because it'll be like overwhelming or something.
Well, the 3 of us went to Vegas, so the other 2 didn't.
Yes. And you went with family too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom and my wife. So.
Yes, that's family.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to be a spiritual badass and go forth and do paranormal shit and have fun with it. Bye.
Thank you.